MadFit is 10 years old this year.
Yes.
Firstly, big congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I'm a member. Shout out MadFit. I am on hold at the moment, but I'm coming back. What I'm interested to know is how you had that on the go. It's flourished and it's a great space for so many people whilst competing professionally. How did you figure that out and get that right? And I know what it takes. It's fucking hectic.
Yeah.
You know, it's people heavy, it's customer facing. It's really not an easy business. There are a lot of easier things you could have picked.
I always knew that your career will come to an end one day, and there needs to be stuff that you've set up before that happens. You can't just like end fighting and then just be like, okay, now what? Me and Matt had always kind of like spoken about like, okay, maybe we could open up a gym and me and you could run it. Someone approached us and said, we have this space for you guys. It was like completely by chance. As a young guy, I'm like, that's a fucking no-brainer. Go there, make money, do what you need to do. So anyway, that ended up being bullshit. We signed 3 months in, the guy was like, fuck you guys, good luck. And so we're like, oh shit. Now we've got to pay like 25,000 Rand a month. We've just started. So yeah, we had to fucking hustle. I was half living in Joburg, half living here because I would have to go train for fights, come back. So like if I didn't have like Matt, especially in the beginning of that period, MadFit wouldn't have happened.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond Physical, where we talk about the mental, emotional, social, and at times spiritual benefits of exercise. We believe that exercise is more than movement, and this podcast is our attempt at sharing that message with the world by sharing our own as well as our guests' experiences and knowledge. If you enjoy it, we ask that you please spread the message by leaving a rating and review, or even better, by sharing with a friend. How did your interest actually sort of start bubbling up around fighting? Because you went to Saks, I went to a similar school. Fighting's not really, It's not a feature there. It's like, it's rugby, it's hockey, it's water polo. So where did that creep in for you? How did you get exposed to the idea of fighting?
I mean, I guess I've been doing martial arts my whole life. Like I started karate and judo when I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5, like really, really young, like super young. My mom was a judoka. She did judo. My uncle was like a black belt in karate. So like it was just always something that we did. And my dad boxed. So like it was just always something that like was around me, I guess. Not that like my mom was training when I was like growing up. It was just more that like you kind of just have to do martial arts. And so when I started with like judo and karate, obviously like the sort of like mindset of like, okay, you have to be training martial arts your whole life was just like instilled. And then obviously I played like rugby, I played like water polo, all that stuff. And then obviously like in school, you know, it's a all boys school, you get into fights, or at least I did. Like, you know, so you get into fights a lot. And then I guess, I don't know, it's weird. It's the weirdest thing ever because like I was never really, when I was young, I was never really like a super confrontational or like aggressive kid. I was actually very timid, and I started training martial arts, and still like wasn't very like aggressive, you know. But I did have a very, very, very bad temper, like a terrible, terrible like switch, and I guess that like kind of channeled that, you know, and so that when I sort of found Muay Thai when I was like 13 or 14. And I saw like, okay, you can go like 100% at somebody. Like you can like go full tilt at somebody now. Like you can have a real fight, like hit them with your knee or elbow. You can go, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to try that. Because I'd done like kumites and karate and like judo and stuff. And like in karate, you can't hit in the face. I got disqualified a lot for hitting guys in the face. And then you get DQ'd or you get a point taken away or something. And then I saw Muay Thai. I watched the movie. I watched the Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I saw a guy kicking the wall, and I was like, let's find a place to do that. So I'd always done martial arts. And so then we found a place, and then I started training, and then I was just like instantly hooked. I was playing, I remember when I was just back from Thailand, and I was playing rugby at False Bay in Constantia. And like I never got match time because I never came to practices because I was always training Muay Thai. So I was just like, at one point I was just like, I actually don't care about anything else except fighting. And like, it's the only thing that I was like really good at and that I just like love doing. So it's just like.
When did you know? Because you then went and started, like you lived in Thailand.
Yeah.
Like you fully committed to Muay Thai. At
Yeah.
what
like, at what age did you make that commitment?
So I mean, like I had my first Muay Thai fight when I was 14, when I was.
Does it work in age groups?
So yeah, that fight I fought a kid that was under 18. So we were both juniors, I guess.
That's quite scary, because if you're 14, you're fighting a 17-year-old.
Yeah, so he
That's
was
a big
18.
gap.
Yeah, so he was 18-year-old and I was a 14-year-old. But I was
That's
I was
scary,
tall.
dude.
I was like this height. I just stopped growing when I was like I was like this
Same.
height. So I was tall and thin. So like for Muay Thai, it's like really good, even if you're fighting someone older. And I remember I won the fight and I walked out of the ring and I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna be a professional fighter. That's what I'm gonna do. I want to do this. She was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. So fast forward, I got a Thai trainer when I was still in my teens, and he was just someone that I was training with, like at a gym like in Weinberg, like nowhere, and I wasn't in school at the time because I'd just been asked to leave a school, which was
Really?
from fighting, because I was just, like I said, like I wasn't like a super aggressive kid. I was actually kind of timid, but I had like this like a streak in me, where it was like a switch, like so like, and then it's like you get fight and then you just like lose your shit, and like, so maybe like a little bit of a loose cannon, a little bit.
Also at that age, sorry to cut you off, but there's no, like, the forming mind, there's
Yeah.
no real temperance.
Yeah.
You just fucking, and you just
Consequences.
it's like you just,
Yeah.
there's no, like, stoic, like, I'm going to detach
Yeah.
from my emotion. I'm not going to, it's like, I'm just going to
You're just gonna act. Yeah, I mean, like
Mm.
you don't really have that like sort of forethought and like, okay, if I do this, this is gonna happen. It's just kind of like
You act and you think later.
react. Yeah. And so I wasn't in school, or I just been asked to leave school, and then we're struggling to get me to another school because obviously like the reputation follows you that you've been asked to leave this school and then that school. And so we're at this point where I was like, hey, cool, like I just want to do Muay Thai. And so I had a Thai trainer at the time. He said, well, why don't you come to Thailand? And I was like, okay, let's go to Thailand. And then I went to Thailand and started fighting. Came back, finished scored at 10, 11 in 1 year. Then I did 12. The day I finished writing my exam, literally the day, like 4 hours later, I was in the airport on my way back to Thailand. And I was just like, this is all I want to do. I don't care about anything else. My mom was like 100% committed that I was gonna be a lawyer. She was like,
Wow.
you need to study law because I have a mouth on me, so I can argue, And so she was like, you need to be a lawyer. You need to be a lawyer. And I was like, yeah, whatever, mom, whatever, in my mind, I was like, I'm fighting. I don't care. I don't care what anyone else wants me to do. That's all I'm gonna do. And so that's basically it. And then from there, it was just like living in Thai gyms, sleeping in rings with little mosquito nets over me, like just living the life. Yeah.
What was that like from a training perspective, making the transition from being, I suppose, pretty competitive in South Africa, but in this context versus going to the sort of birthplace of that martial art, right? Muay Thai is it's a Thai craft, it's a Thai martial art. Like, what was the shift like going so all into it, and how did the training differ?
Well, I mean, it was a lot more intense. Like, I guess the idea of Muay Thai here was, as it is with anything, when you go to like the birthplace, it's kind of watered down. So when you go there and you're like fully immersed, like first of all, the thing that I noticed was like the intensity was just like so much higher, because when you're training at like a commercial gym or like a local gym, there's people there that are training for like fitness. People that are doing it as a hobby. But when you go to a Thai gym, everyone there's a fighter. Every single person there's training to fight. And so the stakes are like, if you don't train hard enough, now you're going to fight, you're going to lose, and then your trainer's going to be angry with you, and like it's going to be like this ripple effect of things. So when you get there immediately, it's like, okay, no, you're training to fight only. That's all you're doing. And so like that little sort of change was like an awakening to me, where it was like, okay, like when I first got to Thailand, none of the trainers held pads for me. I just hit the bag because I was like some like little kid. I was the only foreigner in the gym full of Thai people.
How was that socially?
No, crazy, because I couldn't speak the language. So I had to like rely on my Thai trainer at the time to like translate for me if he was there. And when I was on my own, I kind of just had to like hand signal everything. And so the barrier there, and then like having to try to communicate with the other fighters that were there, like the other Thais there, who didn't like respect me at all, obviously, because I'm like, they don't know who I am. I'm just like a kid. And so you get the hierarchy in like the Thai culture is like real. Like if you're a kid, you're a kid. It's like, don't talk to the adults while we're talking, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of how it was in the gym for me. And so I, like for the first, almost 4 months that I was there, like no one trained me. I just kind of hit the bag and I clinched with the guys and they would throw me around. I would run with everybody. But in that time I was fighting. And so while I was fighting, obviously then like the trainer started seeing, oh, I was winning. And they're like, oh, okay, maybe this guy can fight. And I remember the one day they called me into the ring to come to do pads. And I was like, yes, finally, it's my time. It's my time. I've been fighting. No training, just hitting the bag and clinching with the guys and running and doing sit-ups and all that stuff. And then they were like, okay, come hold pads. And I was like, yes, okay, finally, now I'm in. Now I've got the...
Must have been a wild feeling, group.
I've got the card, like the entry card. And you're like, now you're in the squad, I guess. And yeah, I mean, the first time I went to Thailand, I fought so much. I know, like I say it, but like I fought every weekend. I fought all the time. I just fought.
That is hardcore.
Yeah, I just kept fighting.
So obviously you're like tremendously conditioned at that stage. You're young, you're fucking coursing with testosterone. Exactly. Your body's like in the prime, like sort of responsiveness to like hardcore training. How long, firstly, what are you eating? Secondly, I mean, you're sleeping sometimes in the ring with the mosquito net, so your sleep can't be amazing. No. But how long is it taking you also, aside from the food, to recover from a weekend? So like what day in the week are you feeling, okay, cool, I'm ready for the next weekend, physically?
Yeah, to be honest, like the fighting wasn't actually that taxing on the body. For me at that time, it was the training. Like trying to just train was like impossible because we would wake up at like 6 in the morning and then you want to run before the sun's up because it's really hot. So everyone gets their shoes on, we all go out, and then you run, and you have to keep pace with the group, you know? So they run at like, they're running, you know, they're used to running in the heat. So I'm just trying to keep up, running. You run in the morning, you run 10 to 15 kilometers. That's just like what you do. Like you just run. So it's like a 2-hour run. You get back, you start skipping. So you skip for half an hour, and then you do shadow boxing. Then you hit the bag, and then you hit the pads, and then you clinch afterwards. So you train maybe 4 or 5 hours straight in that first training session.
Do you eat at all in that?
No, you wake up, have coffee sometimes, if you have coffee, and you run, and you start training. So then you train, and the whole time you just obviously like hydrating, drinking. In Thailand, they had these like electrolyte mixes, so I used to pour that in like everything. And because you just sweat so much. So you're just like chugging that as much as you can. You don't know anything about nutrition. I was like a kid, you know, I don't know. I'm just like drinking electrolytes because they're telling me to, you know, and you just go. And then basically after that, then everyone will get together. Well, you first go shower, and the way you shower is you line up for a bucket, and there's a tap pouring into the bucket, and everyone's lining up. So all the like high-level fighters go first or some of them have their own rooms, and you line up with your towel around you and your toothbrush and your soap, and you go there, you shower, you have your turn, you wash with the bucket. And then you go, the next guy goes, you brush your teeth, all that shit. Then you go and you get dressed, and we all sit together at a table, and then they bring out food. The gym brings out the food. So like whatever they cooked that day is usually owned by like a family. And so maybe it's always rice. Rice is like a staple. And then some sort of protein or like a curry or like some fish or whatever. And they'll put everything out on the table. So the kids, like the young guys, we all bring it out from the kitchen, put it on the table. All the fighters are sitting around. All the big guys, the stars or like the big fighters, they get their food, and then you get your food afterwards once they've all eaten. So it's like very much like a hierarchy there. And you kind of just eat like what they tell you to eat. You know, you eat your rice, you eat your chicken, you drink soup, you know, you do everything like that. And then you go and you sleep. So like, let's say after eating, it's like 10:30. Maybe 11 o'clock. Then you sleep. Your next training's in the afternoon at like 4 when the sun's starting to cool down. Again, shoes on, run. So you run maybe 5 kilometers. It's a shorter run because it's hot. Come back half an hour, skipping. Same shit as the morning. Train for another 4 hours. Then the same thing. You shower, sit, eat, go back to sleep. And that's just like what you did every single day. The only day you didn't do that was Sunday. It's like every single day you did that. And so you're running like 15, 20 kilometers every single day. Training 6 to 8 hours every single day, eating 2 meals that you get. And obviously you can go to the shop and buy stuff, but I had no money. So I just ate what I ate at the gym. And then the way it works is when you fight, you pay them from your fight.
Okay.
And that like, gives you your room and board, basically, you know?
I was going to ask how that works. Like, were your
Yeah.
parents paying for it, or
No. So my mom flew me up, you know, with my visa and my and my flight and like some stuff that she packed in. I remember she packed in these jungle bars, Kellogg's jungle bars, and the one day I had like no money. I had like no money, so it was like 3 or 4 days where I just like was just eating enough just to like train, you know, because I was gonna fight in the weekend. You make money and then you can like buy like extra like snacks and stuff so you can like fuel your training. I just remember eating these fucking jungle bars in my room, just like smashing them, trying to like shove in jungle bars. And yeah, man, it was crazy. Like, so you eat, that's how you would eat. If you have a bit more money, you can obviously like, then you pay to have your own room. You can like pay them more to have your own room. Or you can actually leave the camp and have like an apartment, which is eventually what I did. But for that first time that I was in Thailand, I just lived in the gym. And you just ride it. So there was I couldn't afford to pay for a room. So I just slept in the ring with a net over me on a coconut like reed mat with a pillow and a small little fan, and just get annihilated by mosquitoes and just sleep in the cooking heat, like
Oh my
just
word.
dying in the heat. But you're a kid, so you bounce back. So it's like really easy. So yeah, that was basically like my first like experience of Thailand. And I was just like addicted. I was like absolutely hooked. I just couldn't wait to go back. I was just like,
how long did you live like that for?
Sure.
Before you moved into the apartment?
Yeah, no, it was my first year, basically. My first year in Thailand was like that.
That
So it was
is
just
wild.
like, yeah. So you just ride it out, and you're just so grateful to be there.
What about it did you love so much?
I mean, it's like, you know, I guess if you're a kid playing rugby and you get to go like practice with the Stormers or like the Springboks, that's what it feels like, and you get to live with them. It's just like that's what it feels like. Because to me, all the guys that were in the gym were like these legendary fighters, even though like mainstream you wouldn't have known them, but like I knew them because I was so invested into the sport. So like I knew, okay, this is Bobby. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like these guys are legends. Like I've watched their videos on YouTube. Like they're killers, you know. And so for me, I was like, I'm just training near them, which is like so cool. So for me, I was just like so happy to be there and be doing what I wanted to do. And like the freedom also, like you're a teenager in a foreign country and you're like free. You just, all you're doing is training, eating, sleeping with like the best guys, going to fights every single week. On the weekends that you don't fight, you go and watch fights with the other guys. You go and like watch your guys that you train with every day fight. It's like, it was the best thing ever. You know, it was like the best thing that I could have done as well, because that whole experience when I came back kind of like stabilized me. It was more like I was more, instead of reacting to like things where it was like I had like a temper, it was more, okay, no, I've got this like one mission and that's all I want to do. So I'm going to finish school. I'm going to keep training, keep fighting. I'm going to finish school and then I'm going to go back. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I can't do it anymore. And that's basically like how like my career started, basically.
I suppose also in some ways maybe it put into perspective what actually matters for you. So certain things that maybe previously would have bothered you, you're like, you know, my mission's got nothing to do with that. So like, and you just like so focused on what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
And so then you went back after finishing school.
Yeah.
And then you had like quite an ascent and you ended up being a champion, right?
Yes.
How long was that? And what did that feel like? Because obviously you're starting as like this foreign dude that oaks aren't even like paying attention to, and you're just in love with the sport and you fully immersed in it. And then over time you kind of, you really like get to the highest level.
Yeah.
So what was that time frame like and how did it feel to get to that point?
Yeah, well, the second time that I went back, now obviously I knew the guys I was going to, and they knew me now. So it was like, it was a little bit different to the first time, because like now I'd already had like, I don't know, like 30 odd fights while I was there the first time. And so now they already knew me. I already knew the system. I already knew like the whole thing. So when I went back and I was training, it was just like slotting back in. Okay, you're back into the mix. I had like had a couple fights in South Africa where I made some money, I saved some money, so I could now have an apartment. So I had like a really shitty little Thai apartment. I remember the bed had it was just a mattress, like a raw mattress. And there was no like pillow, no nothing. And that's just how I slept. I just slept with a towel over me, and that was like how I slept. No AC, just a fan. But it was like walking distance to the gym, so I could train. I didn't need to like get transport or take bus or train or whatever. And And so then, now obviously, like, I was a bit older, so I was 18 or 16. I matriculated at 16, so I was turning 17. And so now I was a bit older, I was like a bit more like, you know, a man, I guess. And so now, like, the fights were a little bit more serious. So, like, now from like 18 to 24 is like your peak in Muay Thai. So, like, now you're fighting, like, okay, guys that are, like, trying to come up the division, you know, or trying to come up and make their way through the ranks. Whereas when you, like, a kid, it's just kids, you know, like, you, like, lighties having a right, like, you know. So now it was like, okay, now you're starting to fight in, like, the stadiums, like Omnoy Stadium and Lumpini Stadium, Rajadamnern Stadium. These are, like proper, like, this is where, like, the guys go to fight, and they get these rankings. So, like, back then, if you were ranked number 1 in Lumpini Stadium, you're, like, the best. You're, like, the best guy. And so to fight there is like, okay, now we're, like, playing for money now, you know? And so, yeah, man, it was just basically, like, fighting through the ranks, like, taking whatever fight they told you to do. I remember that I had a fight, and I had a friend who was an Italian guy, and he could speak much better Thai than I could. And I had a fight, and then we were fighting at, like, this mall, and it was, like, outside. And I fought this kid, and he was tough, like, really tough. And he was 18, I was 18 or 17, I can't remember. But a really, really tough fight. And I managed to knock him. I was losing, and I KO'd him in the third round. And I remember being like, fuck yeah, like, I won, you know? And then he came to me after, he was like, hey, you know that your manager of the gym or your trainer was betting for you to lose. He was like, he put you in the fight because he was going to bet so that you could lose.
Wild.
And I was like, what? That's crazy. Obviously, like, because the kid was good. And I knocked him out and, like, whatever. And then, so then I changed gyms. So then I left because I was like, I'm not going to stay here where guys are going to bet against me to lose. Like, I don't want to take that risk. And then I moved to a very notorious gym called Khel Samrit, which was just outside of Bangkok.
Why was it notorious?
Oh, they're killers. Like, the best fighters were there. Yeah, the best guys were there. Like, sure, at that time, like, there were just so many guys in the gym that were just, like, at the top. Like, Lumpini champions, Rajadamnern champions, like, guys that were fighting on TV every weekend, like, crazy. To fight on Thai TV means you're legit.
Okay.
If you're fighting on TV, you are, like, legit. Like, really good. So these guys were fighting on, like, Channel 7, Channel 5, Channel 3, like, the proper things. So I was like, okay, and I had a friend, the Italian guy I was talking about, and he was going to go there. Because he was also like, oh, no, you can't fight at a place where the guys are going to bet against you. He was like, I don't want to do that. Let's go to the north, or the north of Bangkok. So we went there, and I fought a couple times, and then I remember I had a fight against a guy who I've lost to twice. And so this first time, I didn't realize we were fighting for anything, like, serious. And then on the day of the fight, when we were about to, like, go. So normally, like, you get into the ring, you do your white crew, you face off, you fight. We got into the ring, and
What's
then,
a white crew? Sorry.
Oh, it's like a traditional dance that you do before the fight in Muay Thai.
Okay.
It's like to bless the ring.
Okay.
And so we got into the ring, and instead of, like, starting the white crew, all these officials came in, and everybody started standing there, and they started bringing belts out, and I was like, oh, wait, hang on. This is not just a fight. This is, like, for something now. And so I didn't realize that I was fighting for anything. See, I was, like, 18. I was a kid. I didn't know, like, I was fighting for anything real. I thought I was just having a fight, you know. No one told me anything. They was just like, oh, we got you a fight on this date. So I was like, cool, let's go. Anyway, so I ended up fighting this guy and was for a world title at the time. And I didn't know. And the guy was just so much better. He was ranked number 2 in Lumpini Stadium, just so much better than me. Anyway, we start fighting. I realized, okay, fuck, this guy's good. Round 2, I managed to catch him. I drop him. He gets up. Round 3, round 4, he just walks me down, clinching me. And in round 4, he knees me to the body and drops me, and I'm done. I was done. I was tickets. I got up. He came again, dropped me again. I was like, I'm fucking done. And that was my first loss ever. So it was like fucking...
What was that like?
Oh, bro, it was the worst thing ever. I felt so shit. I remember, like, I would get these world call cards and speak to my mom sometimes, like every, like, 3 weeks or so. And I remember speaking to her after that fight and be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck this. Like, I can't believe I lost. Like, what's happening? And she was like, no, man, stop being like, don't be like that. Like, you're there now. You might as well carry on. And yeah, I had a really bad reaction to the loss. And yeah, so that was like my first sort of like taste of like the highest level of like really, really good Muay Thai. And that was like after that loss, then obviously I carried on fighting and I went back home. I came back again. And now I was like, okay, no, now I need to go and like win a title. Like, fuck this. Like, that's not happening again. I'm going to go and I'm going to win this title. And so, yeah, then I was back in Thailand and basically just followed the same thing. When I came back to South Africa after that whole trip, I started coaching Muay Thai. I had like a small little gym. And
At what, like 20? How old were you?
yeah, I was 20. Yeah, very, very young. No, 19, young, like a kid. And that was just to make money so I could go back to Thailand. So I was like coaching guys so I can make money so I can go back to Thailand. And then when I would leave, I would have like my mom would help like run the gym. And then I would just like, some of my students would teach for me while I was away, like.
Your mom sounds like an absolute legend.
Yeah, my mom was like the best. Like she backed me like from day one. Like, it's awesome. As soon as I said like, this is what I'm going to do, she was like, okay, let's go.
Takes a lot for a mom as well because she's sending you halfway across the world.
Bro, I wouldn't do it. Like I have 2 kids and I wouldn't do that. Like, I don't want to do that. If they say to me like, I'm going to time, I'm like, no, you're not.
What are you talking about?
Like, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, so I came back and started coaching, trying to make some money to get back. And at the time, I was training with someone in Tableview. I would drive through the Tableview, go train, because it was a good pad holder. And then I got a fight in Joburg. A K1 fight, so it wasn't Muay Thai, it was K1, but it was...
What's the difference between K1 and Muay Thai?
So in Muay Thai, you can clinch, so there's like stand-up grappling, basically, and you can also throw elbows. So in K1, you can't throw elbows, and in the clinch, there's 2 types of K1. There's a 5-second clinch where you can hold for 5 seconds and throw knees, or there's the type of K1 where you can throw a knee, let go, grab, let go. So you have to let go after each strike from the clinch, basically. And so that's like the major difference. And then obviously K1 is usually 3 3-minute rounds, whereas Muay Thai is always 5 3-minute rounds. So it's a small difference there, but it's basically the same thing. Just the elbow strikes is a game changer, obviously.
Okay.
So anyway, I got this fight in Joburg to fight K1 against the champion. I don't know, I can't remember his name, but I fought him. I smoked him like easy. And in the crowd was the owner of Tiger Muay Thai gym in Thailand. And he came to me after, he was like, hey, we want to sponsor you. We want to bring you to Phuket. I mean, I'd never been to Phuket. I was only Bangkok and north of Thailand. He was like, we need to bring you to Phuket. You can come fight for us. We'll give you accommodation. We'll feed you. We'll do everything. We'll promote you. We'll get you the best fights. We'll try to get you title fights. We'll get you onto TV and stuff like that. I was like, fuck yeah, sign me up. Let's go. And so all I needed to do was basically buy a ticket and go and do my visa stuff and all that. And so, yeah, like a month later, I was on the flights and I was in Thailand. And then I was at Tiger Muay Thai at like the beginning of Tiger Muay Thai. Now it's like a huge business, It's like more MMA than Muay Thai now. But back then it was like just Muay Thai. And like there was like nothing on the streets. It was just like Tiger Muay Thai and like one restaurant maybe. And so that was really cool because now I started getting like bigger fights against guys like that, like people knew, and started fighting on TV, started fighting on like the bigger things, and then started fighting for titles and for stadium titles, and like you can fight for like provincial titles. So like the province of South Thailand, you can fight for like the title there. So like I won that. I won the Phuket stadium title. I won the Patong stadium title. I won the Bangla stadium title.
Bangla Road.
Yeah.
I know that place too well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then we would take trips down to like Trang, which is like a different state in the south of Thailand. I won a title there, one of the stadiums, won a world title. So like then all these things start happening because now you've got like sort of these guys that are gonna like direct your career rather than just going and fighting. And so that's when things really sort of took a turn, and that's where I started winning like titles.
So how old were you when you won your first title?
19.
19,
yeah.
And then you went on to win how many in Muay Thai?
Sure, in Muay Thai, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 titles. So I have 2 world titles, 2 worlds, and then 4 stadium titles. Yeah.
And then how does this transition of packing it up and going into the mixed format come about? And when did you decide, okay, I've sort of clocked, or I've done what I've wanted to do with Muay Thai and I'm ready to move on to something different? When did that happen?
So I'd come back from Thailand, and it was the end of 2010 or the beginning of 2011. Yeah, beginning of 2011. And now I was just over traveling to Thailand, away from like my family, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was like, you know, I keep traveling and like leaving her behind and like, ugh, whatever. Spent like more time away than with her. And so I was just like tired of traveling and going. I was so desperate to try and get fights in South Africa, but there was just no Muay Thai. I was only K1. And even then, like, to get me a fight was impossible. I'd have to fight guys at like 80 kilograms, which I did. And I like won titles there as well. It's just that, you know, you want to fight the sport that you've committed yourself to. And so it was either move to Thailand and just live there forever, which at the time I was like, okay, maybe I should just do that. But when I came back to South Africa, all the guys that I used to train with were now doing MMA. And so I would go on sparring days and we'd do like MMA rounds. And I would just fuck them up so badly. And, like the stand-up was just not even like, these were guys that were fighting in the EFC. And I would spar with them, bigger guys, like guys that were fighting middleweight. I would just fuck them up. And I would just be like, these guys suck. Like, these guys suck. I like should just go and do this because I'll just go win and I can just fight. And my trainer at the time was like, yeah, you need to do it. You'll be a champion. I was like, well, okay, cool. Well, let's do it then. And then 6 months later, I was fighting in the UFC.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, you were an elite Muay Thai, like you were a multiple champion. So it's not like surprising that you absolutely cooked them in the stand-up.
Yeah.
But when did you identify the sort of gaps and, I need to figure out the things that come aside from the stand-up and when things go to the ground? And because you also then went on to become a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and that's a massive part of your life, and you spend a lot of time coaching that, and you know, you've taken that incredibly far as well. So how did that introduction happen? I'm assuming that happened through MMA, right?
Yeah. So when I first started training like MMA, I basically just did enough grappling for MMA. So I would only do like MMA sparring or like MMA grappling.
It was like eating your vegetables.
Yeah, I just did it because like I had to. I had to do it. I didn't like it at all. I absolutely hated it because you come from like an elite level of striking and then you like a scrub on the ground. So it's like, it sucks. You don't want to do it. You know, no one wants to do it. It's like leg day in the gym. You know, it's like, I don't want to do it, but I just do it. You know, and so my coach at the time was like, he was a very, very good coach. And he was like very like influential in terms of like how I approached the jiu-jitsu. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have just carried on doing like the MMA type stuff. And he was like, no, you need to compete in jiu-jitsu, like do it, you know? And I remember I had my first competition end of 2011 or beginning of 2012, I can't remember, jiu-jitsu competition. And like, I wasn't training for it, I was just training MMA. And he said, and I'd never like done like no gi grappling. I'd only ever trained in the gi for jiu-jitsu and then done MMA sparring. And so I did the competition, and I think I got like a silver medal or something like that. And I was like, oh shit, I can actually do this. You know, like I had like 6 matches or 7 matches or something like that, and I came second. And I submitted everyone going up to the final where I lost like by 1 point or whatever. So I was like, oh shit, I can actually do this. And then I started like getting more involved in like jiu-jitsu and like wanting to like understand like, okay, what happens when I do this? What happens when I do this? And then I got my blue belt after that. And then, and then I had another fight in April where I fought Leon Maynard. So that was like the big sort of fights that happened like in my career, like the big one in EFC at least. because it was my second fight ever in MMA, and you know, I remember having the conversation with my coach saying like, you know, this guy's like fought for the title before. He's like 20 something fights deep. Like, what happens if I beat him? Like, what comes after this? Then I have to fight for a belt, right? Like, that's like pretty quick, you know? I don't feel like my like level in MMA is like ready to like sort of get there. He was like, no, like, it's fine. We'll deal with it when it comes. I was like, okay, cool. Let's fucking go. Anyway, so I fight him, end up losing like a fucking technical thing that happens there. Like, everyone knows that story. But I also break my hand. It was the first like real sort of injury that I had in terms of like surgery. So I had to have surgery. I was out for 12 weeks. And in that time, I would still go to the gym and I would watch jiu-jitsu. That's when I really started like getting into jiu-jitsu. And also I understood that in MMA, standing and banging, you break your hands. Like the risk versus reward profile in just standing and banging is it's risky. And that's when I really started thinking like, okay, but there are definitely ways that you can win without taking a lot of damage and without damaging your body. So then I started thinking like, okay, let's get more into the grappling. And then my next fight after that, I fought another experienced guy. And in that fight, I was like, cool, I'm going to just go and grapple with him and see what happens. So I took him down, took his back, strangled him in the first round. And I was like, oh shit, this shit works. And so that's kind of like where I was really like all in. I was like, okay, cool, this is legit. I have to do it. Like this is, and then I just started like getting obsessed with like wrestling and grappling. I just like went all in on it. And then my next fight was for the belt, and I won that as well by strangling the guy in the 5th round. And then, yeah, and then the rest is kind of history.
And how regularly were you kind of touching up on the Muay Thai once you'd gone into the MMA world? Because you'd obviously gone into it super deep, but then you started kind of obsessing a bit more about a different art, and that was like more of your focus. Mm-hmm. So how were you like just making sure that you're like topping up, keeping it like at your level that you're happy with?
Yeah.
How did you like? Because I don't know how MMA training works in terms of making sure you tick all your boxes.
Yeah. Well, so that's where me and Matt met each other. Okay. So then I started getting into boxing because I realized, okay, Muay Thai, great for kicking and like clinching and knees and elbows, but boxing is like kind of like a whole separate thing on its own. And so I met Matt in near the end of 2012, and we started training together. And so I was like mainly doing boxing. I was like boxing. And obviously I would spar and the way I would throw kicks and stuff, but like my main training was like, yeah, I need to close the gaps that I have. Because normally what you do in MMA is you have an amateur career where you can like focus on closing all the gaps and you can build your style, but I couldn't do that. No, they didn't let me fight amateur, obviously, because I had 100 odd fights in Thailand. So like they were like, you can't fight amateur. And so I couldn't really, the way that I had to like develop my skill was through the professional ranks. And the thing is, in professional, everything that you do is like dated. So like everything is on your record forever. You know, it's like a rap sheet, you know, it's like, it's on your record. So like you have to kind of learn. I was learning on the go through my professional career. And there came like a point in like, I think maybe 2016 where I started hitting my stride, where I started being like, okay, like I know what kind of fighter I am now, you know? Before that, it was kind of just like hit and miss, trying to like figure out like how to do these things. Like, do I want to focus more on boxing? Do I want to focus more on wrestling? Do I need to add some kicks? Do I need to do more jiu-jitsu? Like just trying to figure out like where the weaknesses were. And there came a point where I started figuring out, okay, this is kind of the balance that I need. And that's when I really started taking off and doing really well. I mean, I won, 7, 8 in a row from that point. I just kept winning. And then I was like, yeah, now I've got my stride. You know, I won my second UFC title, got signed to the UFC, got my debut KO there, won again, went to the PFL, won again. That KO
was dope. That was sick. I was watching that with Michael on a laptop. That's the one when the commentator goes, you've put South African MMA on the map or whatever, and you jump up on the thing and like, and that was cool, bro. Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, like the whole like going into the UFC was like such a like, it was such a, almost like a battle in its own way, because I went to the US to go train with Chris Cyborg. She asked me to come train with her because I know her husband or her fiance at the time. And he was like, hey, she's going to fight Holly Holm next, I think. And she's a southpaw striker and you're a southpaw striker. So like, can you come up and I was like, of course, dude, like anytime. And to train with Cyborg, I mean, like crazy. So I went up and before I went up, I was like, I remember speaking to the guys at the UFC and I was like, look, I might get a fight that side. So can I get like a release letter from you guys so I'm not like under contract or anything? And I got it. So I went.
That's cool of them.
Yeah, it was super cool, like really cool. I mean, to be honest, I think that they didn't believe that anything was gonna happen. So I was like, yeah, sure, go. Like,
I mean, in my view, it also is good for their promotion because it shows that as a gateway towards the premium franchise in the sport, you can come to the EFC.
Exactly.
And there's opportunity to feed up.
Exactly. And so when I went there, I started training with her and I started training with like all the people that she trained with. And they were all like, how are you not in the UFC? They're like, how are you not in the UFC? Like, yeah, they were just like, how are you not in the UFC? You need to be in the UFC. Like, this is crazy. And so then we started negotiations with the UFC. And then like through her, basically I got signed. And yeah, then it was just like, holy shit, I'm in the UFC. You know, like, that's crazy. Like, just like overnight. Like, it's the craziest thing. I was speaking to my manager at the time who was her manager as well. Because like when I went there, he was like, oh, let's sign you and like, let's get you into the UFC. I was like, sweet, let's do it. And I remember him saying like a week before I got signed, he was like, you're going to get signed to the UFC. And I was like, am I though? You know, like you don't know until it's like on a piece of paper. So I was telling people like, my manager says I'm going to get signed. Like, I don't know. I haven't got any contracts yet. And then at the time, UFC were trying to get me to take another fight. So I was like juggling the two guys. Where I was like, I think I'm getting signed to the UFC guys. And they're like, no, but we've got this fight for you. So like, you need to take it. And I was like, just hang on. Like, you know, that kind of just, and then I got signed. And then I was like, okay, sorry guys, I'm signed. Like, peace out.
Did the UFC have to buy you out of?
No, that's why I got the release letter.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Yeah. Because that is like a sort of area in the sport where it gets tricky because you sign exclusive contracts with fighters. Back then, I hadn't signed it. There were no exclusive contracts. Now it's a different thing because obviously the game's like evolved. But back then it was kind of like you just sign fights as you go, you know? Like that's kind of like how I did it. But I knew that things can get like really messy if you go and get signed by someone and they're like, oh no, but you're still contracted to us. And then it's like, oh, I want a cut of your money or like, which is what happens in the sport, unfortunately. That's the way it goes. Is that if you're still under contract, either they have to buy you out, which they won't, or you have to do a deal with your current promotion where you give them a percentage of your money for like X amount of fights or whatever.
Because they essentially own the rights to you, right?
Yeah.
Because like you're the commodity of we are showcasing this talent and this person and like the eyeballs that we have on you are how we make the money. So if you're going to go and show that through another thing, that doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
And how does it work in terms of those contracts? Is it like we want you for X number of fights? Is that generally how it works?
So it's like a bit of a tricky one because it could be, okay, you sign for 4 fights or 18 months.
Okay.
Right? So if you have, let's say you have 2 fights and then you break your hand and you can't take a fight, your contract gets extended.
Okay.
So you could end up having a 4-fight contract that lasts 2 years, 3 years sometimes. If you get injured and like, or maybe you about to have a fight, then you pull out because you get hurt or whatever. Like things happen, you know. Then your contract gets extended. So that's what happens in the UFC. Is like you sign a fight, you're in a contract for 4 years, and now you're gonna fight this person. 2 weeks before you break your ribs or you break your hand, you pull out. Contract extended for 3 months. Now in that 3-month extension, they don't have to offer you a fight. So now you've just pushed your contract further, which means the potential to earn more money goes down because the more fights you have, the more money you earn.
Do they pay you per fight? Like, are they paying you in advance, or you have to have the fight? Then, like after the fight night, they pay you.
No, you fight, and then 7 days after the fight, you get paid.
Okay.
Up to 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, and your first contract's always shit. It's never going to be good unless you're like coming in as like a star, a person with like a massive following or whatever. But like I didn't have that at the time, so your first contract's shit. It's not great. So you want to get through that first contract quick so that you can sign the next contract and start making more money. Like that's the play. So when your contract gets extended and it's long, takes you longer to get to that next contract, which is what you want. And so that's what a lot of promotions do, is they'll sign you for like, let's say 6 fights within 3 years or 2 years. Now they don't have to offer you like, there's a lot of the contracts don't, like the UFC have to offer you fights every 6 months, unless you get an extension. But other promotions don't always have that in their contracts. So you can sign a fight, like I don't want to name names or anything, but you can sign a contract to fight at this promotion, and it's a 3-year contract with 6 fights. But there's no guarantee how many fights you're going to get offered. So you could end up having 2 fights or 1 fight in 3 years, which fucks your career up completely. So like it's a little bit of like a tricky spot, like in terms of contracts, because they also treat you like you said, they own you. So they treat you like an employer, but you're not getting paid like an employer, you're getting paid like a contractor. Now, if I hire you as a plumber, right, a contractor, you do a contract with me at my house, that doesn't mean you can't go work at this house, that house, that house, that house, that house, that house. As long as you do the work for me that you said you were going to do,
That's what matters.
that's what matters. That's a contractor. So in MMA, somehow that loophole has been missed. So now you get guys that are signing exclusive rights to a promotion with no real guarantee that they're going to get X amount of fights, and the promotion can cut you at any time.
Yes.
So like, you have a bad performance, oh, you shit, fuck off. Cool, life shattered now.
Yes.
You know, and so like that is like a little bit of an area of the sport that like starts getting a little bit tricky, and that a lot of people don't know about when they when they have aspirations to go like fight the UFC or PFL or the ONE FC. Like they don't necessarily understand these contracts, and their managers that they sign with don't always tell them like, hey, listen, you're going to sign a 5-year contract with 4 fights. This is a bad contract. Don't sign it. It's not the right contract for you, because there's no guarantee how many fights you're going to have. You have 1 fight a year for 5 years in your prime, there goes your career, you know? Which is why I've actually started managing fighters, because I'm trying to like guide the guys in a better way to say like, hey, you don't have to sign this contract right now, because all you're doing is going to sign away the best years of your career right now. And there's no guarantee you're going to fight X amount of times.
Is the fact that those shitty contracts kind of are prevalent and a thing, is that because managers are not clued up enough, or they're not incentivized, or is it because the I don't know what you want to call it, the franchises, is it because they have a lot more leverage than the fighters? Is it mainly that, or is it mainly the managers are not like legally clued up?
There's probably a bit of both. There's a lot of managers that all like have like a massive stable, so they have 100 guys that they manage, so they don't care how the guys are being treated, or they just know, okay, 100 guys, they're all going to pay me 20% of what they earn. So I'm making
That's
money.
a lot.
Yeah, right? So most people take 20% of their fighters' earnings, which after taxes, after paying your coaches, after paying your training camp, is not that much money, unless you're fighting for millions, right? So, and that's the thing, is that like these guys don't understand that. So like, for instance, like I don't take a large percentage from my fighters. I take a very small percentage, because at the end of the day, I'm not fighting, you're fighting. So my incentive goes up to make you more money.
Yes.
Because I'm not taking a big percentage. If I'm taking a big percentage, I don't care what you get paid, because I get a bigger chunk of the thing. So like, there is that, of course. And then there's obviously like, guys understand that it can sign a shit contract in the UFC, but the eyes that they'll get in the UFC will bring them commercial contracts outside of the fighting. So like all those things play. So like the leverage that you get from fighting in a bigger promotion, of course, makes a huge impact. So like these guys will sign these bad contracts, or they'll sign like, because they want to be in the UFC so bad. And that's just, and that is part of the thing, you know?
And what was the kind of time frame, because I can't recall, but the time frame of your entering the UFC? Well, how closely did that coincide with us going into COVID and things like that?
Yeah, so I signed in the UFC at the middle of 2018. Had my debut at the end of 2018. I then only got offered another fight to fight again at the end of 2019. So that's like that extension thing. Because what happened was, after my fights in 2018, I won, obviously. And then Chris Cyborg asked me to help her for another camp. So I was traveling and I was overseas. And during that time, they offered me a fight, and I said, listen, guys, sorry, I'm not actually at home where I'm training, so I can't take this fight in it was in 6 weeks. I can't take this fight, I'm sorry, because I'm not actually training right now. I'm a sparring partner, basically. And I've already done this commitment. I've already, I'm here. And so they extended my contract. So within those 3 months, they didn't have to offer me anything. So then by March or April, March, I was waiting for fights. So they didn't have to give me anything from the end of 2018 till March or April. And then I kept asking my manager, I was like, please, I need to get a fight. And I was trying to get on the fights in Europe because it's it's a short flight, so it's easy for me. And eventually I got the fight in Abu Dhabi in when was it? September of 2019. And then I won again. And in that fight, I broke my hand. So then I broke my hand.
Was it the same hand that you'd broken previously?
Yeah, but in a different spot, different part of the hand. So anyway, I break my hand. So I'm out for 3 months now where I can't use my hand. And of course, in that time, they offered me a fight. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, I've got a broken hand. So then what happens again? They extend your contract. So then what happened is they extended my contract now again until end of February, March. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm ready to go. Let's sign a fight. 2 days before we got locked down, they offered me a fight in Brazil. And I was speaking to my manager, negotiating, oh, cool. Let's do it. Boom, lockdown, no flights. So now I'm like, okay, cool. I haven't fought since September 2019, and now it's middle of March 2020, and now it's COVID. Mm. So now it's okay, cool. Now you're just on ice until, whenever. And then, basically COVID happened, which was a shit show. And then we started getting flights around October, November, where they started opening flights, special case flights to travel and compete and stuff like that. And bro, I was on my, I was fighting with my manager at the time, Tim, him and I laugh about it because I was on the phone, fuck Tim, don't do your fucking job, get me a fight, what are you doing? And he was like, bro, I'm fucking trying, what do you want me to do? So I was super frustrated at the time and trying to get fights, and then eventually they offered me a fight in, when was it, March. Offered me a fight with a guy, he pulls out. Offered me another fight with another guy, he pulls out. 10 days before the fight, they tell me, oh, we haven't done your visa stuff.
What?
So I'm like, okay, so now what? And they're like, oh, well, you could try to fly to this country and then try apply from it there. And I was like, but how are we doing this 10 days before the fight, So anyway, that fight gets canceled. And then I'm like, okay, I'm so over it at this point. And then I get another fight to offer. They offered me another fight in June or July. I think it was June or July. So anyway, I moved back to Cape Town. I get married in April. My wife's pregnant. We were about to have our kid at the end of the year. And I get offered this fight. I'm training. Guy pulls out again. The same guy that pulled out from in March. And they just said to me oh, there's no replacement. So I was like, sorry, what? I haven't fought in almost 2 years now. How is there no, the last time wasn't my fault. It was your guys' fault. How is there no? Anyway, we have a back and forth and things are really cuck. And I just decided let's just leave the UFC. And they were like, yeah, cool, go. It's fine. We're the UFC, so fuck you.
So
yeah. So I was like, where can I go that will get me the most fights and often? And the PFL was a tournament format where you fight every 8 weeks. So I was like, that sounds like a great idea because then I'm going to fight 4 times in the year and I'll make up for the years that I've lost. And so 2021, I had a fight in the PFL in October. I won that in the second round. Then I got signed for the season. My first fight was in April. I lost, broke my foot. Then I was out of the season. So then I had to wait till the next season, which is the risk you take fighting in the tournament. Mm. The next season comes, I move up a division to welterweight because cutting to lightweight, I was cutting 15 kilograms in 10 weeks. It was stupid. It was disgusting to make the weight. And then training for that fight, 3 weeks out, break my hand again. And
same hand again.
Same one.
Nuts.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, sorry guys, I broke my hand. I can't compete. I'm out of the tournament again. So now you have to wait till the next year. And the next year was 2024 now, when I was fighting in my last 2 fights. In my first fight, which was in April, I won in the first round. And then my second fight, going into the first fight, I had a costochondritis, or like where the cartilage was damaged in my chest. Whatever, I don't know, I can't remember.
Sternocomastoid or something
That's
like
it,
that.
yeah. So I was wrestling and I fell on a knee and I thought I broke my rib, but it was actually the cartilage. And so, man, I had to manage that. I didn't really spar or do any like training for the first fight. Like I just did like pads and like SNC and stuff like that I could do. I fought one, great, come back, have to start prepping for the next one. All fine in preps, like just carrying on doing my thing. Fight happens. First takedown attempt, I like stop him, and as we turn, I feel it just go pop again, and I was like, fuck. Everything was going so well up until this point, and then like I was just fucked. I couldn't do anything. Like I don't know if you've ever had like a rib injury or anything. Like
I know that it's
trying to like move someone off of you, or like
also breathing.
Explode, trying to breathe. I couldn't breathe. It was like the worst thing ever. I just literally couldn't do anything for like 3 rounds. I just like lost because I was just like fucked. I just couldn't do anything. Even on the feet, like I couldn't like explode like with my shots because like tensing was difficult. And so yeah, and then after that, yeah, it was just basically like I sat down with my wife and I was like, listen, I'm gonna, because I was still in the tournament. I'm like, I'm gonna try and push through to get to this next fight, because it was the semifinals. So I was like, if you win the PFL, you win $1 million. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and go through, even though I am injured. I'm still currently injured. So I was like taking like muscle relaxants, painkillers before training through that. And then I came back to Cape Town because we were moving, and I remember I took like a week off of the painkillers because like I was having stomach issues. My stomach was fucked. And I tried to train and I just couldn't train. The whole week I just sat out. I couldn't train. And I was like, yeah, I can't, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do the same thing I did the last one, have a shit performance, and I'm going to look like a fucking dickhead, and like it's going to be pointless anyway. So then I was like, I'm not going to do it. And now at that point I was like, this is going to keep happening. So I'm just going to call it a day and just focus on coaching now, because realistically, at the time I was turning 34. I'm like, I've always set myself a sort of limit that at 35, I'm not going to fight anymore. And that's like what I said. And so I was like a year out from that. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's just call it. I have a really successful business. I have a family. We're expecting our second kid. I was like, I don't really need to keep pursuing this thing that isn't giving anything back to me anymore, you know? I just kept getting injured. I kept fucking my body up, taking time away from my family, which I wasn't willing to do anymore. And so, yeah, I just came to the decision where I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on the next generation of fighters, which is what I've done now. And I've just been focusing on coaching the next gen of guys. And like, so far, my guys are the guys that are coming up. Yeah.
It takes a lot to walk away from something that's been such a big part of your life, but in the same breath, it's not necessarily actually walking away, because you're just now occupying a different role in the same world, which suits the stage of life you're in, right? But something, and I don't know how much time you have because we're over an hour now. You fine?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Bruce, so MadFit is 10 years old this year.
Yes.
That's a good innings.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Like, firstly, big congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I'm a member. Shout out MadFit. I am on hold at the moment, but I'm coming back. And I've watched the journey from probably, I think, maybe 5. Yeah, it would have been year 5 for you guys. So you're already established. But what I'm interested to know is how you had that on the go, and it's flourished, and it's a great space for so many people. Chad obviously as well, whilst competing professionally. How did you figure that out and get that right? Because I'm also a gym owner and I know what it takes.
Yeah.
It's fucking hectic.
Yeah.
It's people heavy, it's customer facing, it's really not an easy business. There are a lot easier things you could have picked. So how did you manage to keep that on the go and to grow it to where it is now,
Yeah.
whilst doing another more than full-time thing,
Yeah.
which is being a pro athlete.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I always knew that like your career will come to an end one day, and there needs to be stuff that you've set up before that happens. You can't just like end fighting and then just be like, okay, now what? And so, like me and Matt had always kind of like spoken about like, okay, maybe we could open up a gym and me and you could run it, and then one day it was like completely by chance. Someone approached us and said, we have this space for you guys. Like like say, I found the space. Do you guys want to take it? We won't charge you to take it. So you're going to be rent free.
Cheapers.
So like as a young, I was 24. So I was like, as a young guy, I'm like, that's a fucking no-brainer. Like go there, make money, do what you need to do. So anyway, that ended up being bullshit. We signed the lease to go in, and 3 months in, the guy was like, fuck you guys, good luck. And so we're like, oh shit, now we've got to pay like 25,000 Rand a month, and we've just started. So yeah, we had to fucking hustle. And like I was traveling between Joburg and here. I was half living in Joburg, half living here, because I would have to go train for fight, come back, work at the gym. And thank goodness, like you know how important it is to have a good team. So like if I didn't have like Matt, especially in the beginning of that fucking period, MadFit wouldn't have happened, because he held it down for me while I was away doing my thing. And yeah, man, like we just, it's people think it's like you're gonna open this thing and then like everyone's gonna come and you're just gonna like fucking kill it. And the reality is like, no, you're gonna suck ass for like the first while, and you're gonna have to invest all of your time and all of your energy into this thing, and maybe you'll do okay. You know what I mean? And so anyway, in 2021, when we were gonna have our first kid, I said to my wife, let's move back to Cape Town, because I want to raise my child with my family, like with her parents, my mom at the time, my brothers, her brothers, etc., around family, and we can now fully go into running the gym. And yeah, once we moved back, then which was 2021, I'm very lucky that my wife she comes from a film background. She does like producing.
So she's hardcore. She's organized.
Hectic.
She's on
like so hectic. If I always say like if she wasn't around, like I don't actually know. I don't know how to do any other shit, like responding to emails and fucking doing accounts and like net cash and like what the fuck, like I don't know, like I don't do any of that.
Her service is also excellent. When I interacted with MadFit rejoining, it was like she was so good on the emails.
She literally is like, she's like one of those people who's like, I can't let people wait an hour for a response.
I love that.
Yeah.
You need that.
Exactly.
It's a game changer.
And so when we moved back, having her and myself now to partner to help Matt, because Matt was obviously holding the fort down while I was away, and just like continue to lay brick by brick by brick. Now we had me back to help, support, and then my wife to help do the admin, which was like a game changer, because like me and him are not admin guys. We're like hands-on, let's do the work stuff. But like admin, like I don't want to know about admin. And so yeah, so from 2021 onwards, I mean, we started tripling like really quick, and we soon outgrew our premises, and we found another premises around the corner, which was, we first had just an upstairs section. I don't know if you remember that. It was just upstairs.
As in the place before you moved?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
So it was just upstairs. And we had that place. We outgrew that place. Then we got downstairs, which was like another like 100 and something square meters.
And that's when you first got your like sick, big like mats and everything,
Yeah. And so then we got that place. We outgrew that place. And then we were like, okay, we got this opportunity to take a massive place, which we got now. And we were like we've done with everything, it's be like, let's see what happens. Let's go. When we opened the gym, we weren't expecting to be paying like 25,000 Rand a month in the first 3 months of our thing. We thought we were going to be riding a year out and not having to do anything, and we somehow just made it happen. And that's kind of like the story of us. We've just making it happen. As it happens, we just ride with it. And what we've done in the last 10 years is, I mean, it hasn't been easy. As I'm sure you know, running your gym, it's never easy. Managing staff, managing people, managing like interrelationships and how like people, this guy pisses you off, he does that, it's like, fuck this fucking guy, I'm the boss, fucking, those types of things like happen, and no one really like coaches you on like how to do it. You just kind of have to do it, and then you do it as you do it. And that's kind of been our story, and we just, man, we're really blessed, and we really have built such a cool community. Like, like our community is like an extended family to us. It's like everything we do, we have to think like, okay, but what about the community? If like guys are competing at like the local jiu-jitsu tournament, like everyone comes to come watch and support. If guys are having like a boxing fight, we all come to support. If someone's having a birthday, like all the guys want to come and join. And it's like building that little sense of community, because I think that's what like everyone's kind of searching for. Like people want community. Like that's like in us. And that's kind of like what we've been trying to build with MadFit. It's just build this community of people that have the same sort of ideas and the same sort of interests and the same sort of like hobbies. And if we can teach you something, that's cool.
Yes.
If we can show you how to like be better at this thing, then cool. But the community part of it is like super important to us, and hopefully we'll be branching out soon and adding to other communities as well.
I trust whatever you guys put your mind to, you'll do. You're both really good at what you do. I think something I'm also interested to find out though is like, aside from obviously your reputation as being a top achieving athlete, what do you think your professional fighting career, and even if you had to strip away professional, just the time you spent fighting and training and building yourself up into developing those skills, how do you think that has benefited what you guys have done at MadFit? Like, what did it teach you? What do you think it's given you that you wouldn't have had without it to build a business?
Sure, being able to roll with the punches, like for sure. Like every time you hit a wall, understanding that like if you just keep at it, you'll keep going. Like fighting definitely teaches you that. You get your ass kicked on Monday, you still got to go back to practice later that day or the next day, and probably get your ass kicked again. And it's just the way that it is. And just if you keep showing up and keep investing time into it and energy into it, and the thing that separates like us from I think a majority of the people is that we just love doing what we do. Like I fucking love martial arts. Like I love it. I love everything around martial arts, the training of martial arts, the S&C, the sports, the strength, the performance side of it, the nutrition side of it, everything that goes into martial arts, I love. I'm obsessed with it. And so, you can start a business to make money and think like, oh, I'm gonna make money. But in a business like this, if people smell bullshit like real quick, and for myself and Matt, we just love what we do, and so every single day we go in. Matt and I don't necessarily need to be at the gym every day and coach every day, but me and him are there every day and we're coaching every day, and it's because we love what we do, and we wanna keep doing that and keep, building what we've built already. And I think fighting and martial arts and all that stuff teaches you that you have to just keep showing up. Like if you keep showing up, and you, like Seb, you've just started jiu-jitsu like for the last like couple months, right? If you keep showing up, 10 years from now, you'll have a black belt. Like that is the way it is. If you just keep showing up, you will have it. It will happen. And like that's I guess life, If you set your mind to something, you just stick on it and you just fucking keep going until the wheels fall off. Like that's just the way it is. And that's how I am. That's how I roll. So I'm like a loyal dog, Once you commit to something, you commit and you see it through, and that's just the way that you got to be.
There's somebody who said, I don't know what it was, I could have been Warren Buffett, I think it was him. He said people, or Bill Gates, one of those oaks, they said people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade.
100%.
So it's like that sort of dogged determination of just showing up over and over. You'll be so amazed. Like imagine that opportunity being presented to you as a 24-year-old. There was probably no way you could have envisioned this community that you've built 10 years down the line. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. Like we just at the time we were just like, oh cool, like we have our own gym. Like sweet. That's cool. Like we're just gonna continue doing what we were doing at the gym we were at here. And then just like over time, we started being like, holy shit, we've got like 50 people. Now we've got 100 people. Now we've got 150 people. It's like, holy shit, like we just like, this is a thing now, you know? And yeah, man, it's super cool. And it's like you say, like if you just stick to it, I mean, in like the fitness industry, you know, everyone wants to find out what like the secret training move is, or like the secret tip on to get bigger chest or whatever. And it's like, bro, just get into the gym and fucking bench press every week. And I'm telling you, you're going to grow.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. Just go every single day, eat, right? And lift and add weight and progressively get stronger. Like, that's what you got to do. There's no magic pill. It's the same with, unless you got like a trust fund baby and you get fucking thrown like a shitload of money and you can just throw your money away. But if you do it the way, like the hardcore way, you just got to show up and you just got to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And you will get better and you will probably be successful. But people quit too early, man. And it's the same in martial arts. People get like their blue belts and like, fuck it. Yeah, man, I made it. And it's like, you're still a scrub. You're still a beginner. Like, you still have a long way to go. Keep at it. Yeah.
So for somebody who's not necessarily a fighter, I guess in a way, kind of sell it to that person, or for anyone listening, one reason, you've kind of touched on a lot of it now already, but one reason why you would like absolutely die for them to get into martial arts, like for someone who's not actually looking for like self-defense or physical fitness or whatever it may be, why would it be for them? Like, what are they going to gain from it?
Yeah, there's a very famous quote. I can't remember off the top of my head who it is. But it's like, how much do you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? How much do you really know about yourself unless you've been in a fight? No, that doesn't mean you have to actually fight. But getting into a gym or any sort of, like even just like training, you learn so much about yourself. You know, you learn like, what am I actually made of? You know, whether that's I'm going to go train boxing and go spar and like get a punch in the face and be like, oh, I'm not made of glass. You know, I'm tough. You know, I'm not useless. You know, I've got something. You know, I think like that's the biggest message. Like, even if you don't train with us, if you train, you'll learn stuff about yourself. And that's like, I think what everyone is trying to do in life is like, who am I? What is the meaning of this? You go out and you do martial arts, like jiu-jitsu. How humbling is jiu-jitsu?
Amazing, bro.
Humbling, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're a big, strong dude. And like...
Means nothing on the mat.
Exactly, right? And you learn that like, okay, at some level, we're all kind of equal. You know, you have all these attributes, but this person has all these skills. And that kind of balances you guys out and it makes you equal. And like, that's, I think like why like all martial artists that you meet are pretty cool guys, like pretty chill, like not, because they realize, okay, like we're all kind of doing the same thing and we're all just trying to kind of like find out who we are and what we are made of. And I think that's the most important thing that we need right now in society. Everyone needs to chill the fuck out, learn a martial arts and be cool. And like that's the way that's what I would suggest to everybody out there.
That's awesome, bro. I really appreciate what you and Matt have done with the community and continue to do. And I'm super pumped to see how it continues to progress, because I know you're a competitive human. You raise the bar, and I relate to that deeply. It will always be a thing of how can we improve this thing? How can we excel more? What stone has to be turned still? So I know there's a lot more to come. Yeah, I appreciate your time. If people want to come and support the gym, join the community, where can they find you guys?
So we're at MadFit MMA on Instagram, www.madfitmma.com. Super easy. Everything is online. You go onto our website, you click a free trial, book yourself in. We'll contact you. Like you said, very quick response time, and we'll get you in the system real quick.
And you're coaching as well. You're doing S&C. You're helping fighters get in shape, and also you're obviously an expert in jiu-jitsu. I don't know if that's blasphemous to say that, because I know how humble the community is around that, but you're a fucking weapon. So people can contact you for that as well, or for your S&C. So how can they contact you personally?
Sure, yeah. I mean, for S&C, you can contact me on Madge Conditioning on Instagram at Madge Conditioning. And if you want to contact me directly, it's Don Madge MMA on Instagram. You guys can just reach out to me, or donmadgemma.com. You can pop me an email, and we'll get you sorted if you're looking for some training.
Awesome. Brew, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you in the next episode. Shot, Brew.
Thanks, Brew. That was sick.
Thank you so much for listening to the show, guys. We love answering specific questions. So if there's anything you want to know, leave a comment or reach out to us directly at HorizonZA on Instagram, or email us at movement@horizongym.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Seb Prentice, and this is Beyond Physical.